Welcome to Animal Atlas. Come with us around the globe and explore the animal world and its jungle animals and desert creatures. We'll meet wildlife on the savannah and see our underwater friends. And animals from the Arctic Circle. Anywhere, everywhere animals live. It's always an adventure. Today on Animal Atlas, we're on the move to discover the way that animals get around. Because not all animals walk, like us, or drive, or fly planes, and helicopters, or drive boats. This cheetah doesn't need a car to get where it's going. These birds can fly farther and more acrobatically than an airplane. And the dolphins don't need an outboard motor to power them through the water. In the animal world, movement is species specific. Everyone does it just a little differently. And sometimes, not at all. From our perspective, it certainly looks like some animals move for the sheer joy of it, while others seem to be working toward an important goal. How an animal moves depends on the structure of its body and where it lives. Forms of locomotion vary from movement through water, both above and below, to movement on or above ground, to subterranean tunneling, to tree climbing, to gliding and true flight. Most animals with wings fly, while those with flukes and fins are swimmers. Animals with legs crawl, walk, hop, or run. But the exceptions are fascinating. This may look like a bouquet of exotic underwater flowers, but these sea anemones are animals. When they were very young, they swam until they found a good place to live, then anchored themselves forever to that spot. Hard to believe, isn't it? But then, you almost never stay still. Adult sea anemones are sessile, meaning they are permanently attached to their ocean bottom home. But this doesn't mean they are completely motionless. Those tentacles are quite capable of doing more than swaying in the ocean current. Just watch what happens when unsuspecting prey happens by. The tentacles curl up and embrace the meal to be. Ah, dinner. Sessile, but definitely not motionless. Another fascinating animal in the sea anemone's neighborhood at the bottom of the ocean is the sea star. The sea star belongs to a group of sea animals called echinoderms, which appropriately means spiny skin. The sea star may appear stuck to the ocean floor, like a sea anemone, but it's actually moving at breakneck speed. For a sea star. Why does the sea star move so slowly? Since it eats mostly sessile prey, like coral, clams, and mussels, speed is not of the essence. Something you certainly can appreciate. That grass isn't going anywhere soon either. A land-living African predator, like the cheetah, on the other hand, does have legs. 4 of them, in fact. And must be able to move very quickly. Because its prey does not include any sessile creatures, but rather fast-moving wildebeests and gazelles. Just like the sea anemone is built for staying put, the cheetah is built for speed. It has long, slim, muscular legs, a small, rounded head set on a long neck, a deep chest, and a flexible spine. That long tail is used for balance. Furthermore, the cheetah's claws don't retract, giving it traction that rivals a human runner with cleats. All these wonderful adaptations contribute to making the cheetah the fastest land animal in the world. How fast, you ask? Would you believe 70 miles per hour in short bursts? That's fast. Now, the cheetah is a quadruped, meaning it has 4 legs, like the tiger or the fox. But not all 4-legged creatures have such a flexible spine. Sorry. Many hoofed herbivores or vegetation-eating animals, like the horse, and the wildebeest, and the zebra, are powerful runners. But their movements, since they most often need to flee rather than to pursue, are measured in gaits, including walking, trotting, cantering, and galloping. They may not win a dead sprint against some fast cats, but if they get a big enough head start, their stamina will allow them to outlast the speedsters, even the cheetah. Life isn't always a sprint. When we come back to Animal Atlas, we'll meet some more animals in motion. But first, let's see if you can guess this animal fact. What is the fastest reptile on land? A, the black mamba. B, the spike-tailed iguana. C, the alligator. Or D, the leatherback turtle. The answer coming up when we return to Animal Atlas. We're back. Did you guess the right answer to our question? What is the fastest reptile on land? The answer is B, the spike-tailed iguana. This speedy iguana can run at speeds over 20 miles per hour. That's pretty impressive for such stubby legs. The fastest reptile, period, is actually the leatherback turtle, which can swim over 20 miles per hour. But it's painfully slow on land. Snakes tend to be slow too. And without appendages, it can't technically outrun anything. When it comes to running, here's a bird with a reputation for being fast. The roadrunner. It's sort of like a small version of the world's biggest and fastest running bird, the ostrich. But the ostrich isn't just one of the most gifted running birds. It's one of the best runners in the animal kingdom, period, and can accelerate up to 40 miles per hour. And if it can't run from a threat, look out. It has very sharp toes and can throw a swift kick. Now, let's meet some fast animals who move on 4 legs, not 2. The most common 4-legged gait is the diagonal walk, which is how most cats and dogs move, moving their diagonally opposed legs forward at the same time. For example, the front right and back left legs move forward. Then, the front left and the back right legs move. But that's not the only 4-legged walk in the animal kingdom. The giraffe walk, practiced by brown bears, and camels too, is when both legs on one side move together, followed by both legs on the other side. In some cases, the hind leg starts its motion first, so there is a slight lag. This is called pacing. It may look funny, but it gets the bear where he wants to go. Actually, when most 4-legged animals are walking, they're supporting themselves with 3 limbs. This is so they can stop suddenly without falling over. Have you noticed that it's even numbers that reign supreme in the animal kingdom for our terrestrial movers? It's 2 legs for humans and birds, 6 legs for insects, and 8 legs for spiders. What about centipedes and millipedes? These elongated and cylindrical arthropods have more than 30 pairs of legs, usually 2 per segment, since, after all, millipede does mean millions of feet. The kangaroo is another animal named for its feet, since the kangaroo, as well as the wallaby, are macropods. What does that mean? Big-footed. The kangaroo can clearly move along on 2 legs, and it can also move quite comfortably on all 4s, though it looks a bit awkward. But this isn't all that makes this animal special. Kangaroos, like frogs, grasshoppers, and rabbits, leap rather than walk from place to place. This movement, which we like to call hopping, helps them to escape their enemies. Leapers can take off quickly from a still position, and they can change direction unexpectedly. Besides its powerful hind legs, what's essential to how a kangaroo moves? Its long tail. The kangaroo uses it for counterbalance, almost as a fifth leg. Fifth leg tails come in handy while resting, too, which is something the meerkat can attest to. We've seen how a long tail aids the cheetah and the kangaroo during locomotion. But there's nothing like the long tail of the spider monkey for aid in motion. This monkey's tail is prehensile, meaning it can grab and hold, much like a grasping hand, making spider monkeys one of the most agile and acrobatic tree scalers of all the monkeys. Opossums have prehensile tails too, and for balancing while crossing fallen trees, their tails are fabulous. But unfortunately, for our marsupial friend here, prehensile doesn't necessarily mean weight-bearing. Now, while kangaroos use their leaping or hopping to travel great distances, not many other animals transport themselves very far this way. Though most terrestrial animals can jump or leap, apes and monkeys often leap from 2 legs, while a number of antelopes will use all 4 legs to jump. Big cats most often leap from their back legs. And here are some animals that can't leap at all. They're among the most awkward creatures on land. But they save all their grace and athleticism for the water. Seals' flippers don't offer the best traction on land, but underwater, they swim effortlessly and joyfully. Penguins are in the same boat. Their tiny legs make it difficult for them to move on land. But look at how this penguin dives through the water. That's where it really shines. It could even make some fish jealous. And speaking of great swimmers, you might not expect this huge lumbering bear to be a good swimmer. But it can swim like a fish. And in frigid water, too. When we come back to Animal Atlas, we'll meet some more great swimmers. But first, let's see if you can guess this next animal fact. Which bird flies the highest? A, the eagle. B, the goose. C, the crow. Or D, the duck. Don't go away. The answer coming up right after this on Animal Atlas. We're back. Did you guess the right answer to our question? Which bird flies the highest? The answer is B, the goose. But not just any ordinary goose. The bar-headed goose found in the mountains of Southeast Asia. It can fly up to 21,000 feet, which it does during its migration over the Himalayas. Home of the world's tallest mountain, Everest, which is about a mile too high for the geese to pass over. The bar-headed goose may be an impressive flyer, but it's also a waterfowl and makes its home in the water, like all other geese. Which is why it has webbed feet. Geese are specially adapted for paddling around ponds and lakes, as well as flying over mountains. But webbed feet aren't the only way that land animals adapt to water life. Just look at the hippopotamus. Eyes, ears, and nostrils that will protrude above the waterline, as our hippopotamus demonstrates, is an adaptation for the water life, shared by the capybara. And the alligator too. But the grand prize for adaptations for swimming has to go to the marine mammals. Marine mammals include animals that never venture on land, like the cetaceans, which includes the dolphin and the whale. Instead of arms and hands, these animals have flippers for steering as they swim. Cetaceans don't have any hind limbs, but they do have boneless tails made of hard connective tissue called flukes for swimming. Manatees are another species of marine mammal that have no hind limbs, but the ability to swim quite well, though slowly. That huge paddle-like tail propels the manatee along in its slower-paced habitat, the warm and shallow coastal waters. Though these marine mammals have pretty much given up the ability to go ashore, there are still those, like the elephant seal, who can haul out to rest on a sandy beach. Or the harbor seal, who hauls out on rocks near the crashing surf. But their awkwardness on land is just as apparent, as is their gracefulness in water. Another animal that looks ungainly on land, while at home in the water, is the American alligator. This animal is a very successful species and hasn't changed much in the more than 150 million years of its existence. Hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. The crafty alligator has its own reptilian way of swimming. These crocodilians are tail scullers. They tuck their legs against their body and gently undulate their powerful tails. Otters also have a swimmer's tail. When they swim, they use sinuous body motions combined with the propulsive force of their own powerful tail. No paddling required with muscular tails like these. Of course, the animal that has pretty much cornered the market on swimming is the fish. Fish have fins, not flippers, and these fins are used to steer and not for propulsion. The dorsal and caudal fins, which are the fins on the back, and on the tail, keep the fish from rolling over, while the pectoral and pelvic fins, found in pairs on either side of the fish, are used to steer up and down. How does a fish move then? Almost all fish travel by making wave-like movements. They move their bodies from side to side while swishing their tails back and forth. This motion pushes water backwards and around the fish, propelling the animal forward. No muscular tail required. Just a muscular body. What about underwater flappers, like the penguin? Those wings may look stubby compared to birds that can spread their great wings and take to the air. But just like the cetacean's arms have evolved into flippers, so have the penguin's wings. But these flipper wings aren't just for steering. The penguin actually flies underwater, like other birds fly through the air, using powerful strokes of flipper-like wings and using its webbed feet and stiff tail as rudders. What do cetaceans and penguins have in common? Both are great swimmers, but neither swims like a fish. See how the average fish has a tail fin that is vertical? Compare this to the horizontal flukes of the cetacean, which comes with a mighty up and down method of underwater locomotion, and is vastly different from our side-to-side swimmers. Our penguins, too, with their flapping motion, practice an up and down motion of propulsion, rather than a fish swish. Of course, in the animal kingdom, there are always exceptions. If the penguin is practicing a version of underwater flight, how do birds who can fly, fly? Well, when birds flap their wings, they push down on the air to create lift and thrust. Lift raises the bird and keeps it in the air. Thrust moves the bird forward. Feathers produce thrust by pushing against the air. But because flapping is hard work, birds will often glide. And have you ever seen geese flying in a V? That's another way that birds save energy. The birds in the back draft behind the birds in the front and don't have to spend as much energy flapping. When the front goose gets tired, it drops back and another goose takes the helm. Pretty smart, huh? Yes, smart is nature's way. From adaptations like camouflage, to diet, to locomotion. Some land animals take to the water with ease, and some don't. Some birds can fly fast and high, and some can't take to the air at all. But they can run like the wind. Yes, humans and animals alike always need to get where they're going as fast and easily as possible. So naturally, they've adapted to move in every way imaginable. Hey, if it works for you, it works for me. Don't go away. Animal Atlas will be right back. Until next time on Animal Atlas.
Left, right, left, right. Happy birthday to me, happy birthday to... Oh, awesome! Crickets!
Something is happening. Over there!
I can hear you blinking.
Cannonball! Ah! Ooh, candy!
Oh, it's fish again.
Feet. Dum 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 dum. I'm a shark.
Was he just doing his own theme music?
Yeah, it's totally lame. Okay, now say cheese. Cheese. Okay, that's good.
Once again, we've traveled the globe, from North and South America to Africa and Asia to Australia and every fascinating place in between. We've met all kinds of incredible animals and learned some important facts about their ability to survive and flourish on our planet. And with our help, we'll make sure they're around for a long time to come. Join us next week for another amazing adventure on Animal Atlas.